5th. The time is 6:04, and I'm going to call this special meeting to order. Can I please get a roll call?
Flores Kale,
Here.
Tobias,
Present.
Goza,
Here.
Medina. Here. Zapata,
Here.
All right.
Harris,
Sorry.
Here.
McKinney.
Here.
All right, thank you. That was 7. We have 2 virtual. We have a quorum. Up next, we have citizens' comment period. The city council welcomes comments from citizens. Those wishing to speak are encouraged to sign in before the meeting begins. Speakers will be provided with an opportunity to speak during the time period on any agenda item or any other matter concerning city business, and we ask that you observe the 3-minute time limit. Do we have anybody who would like to speak? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close citizens' comments. Okay, up next, we have executive session. The city council will now go into executive session to discuss agenda items 1A through C pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 551.071 and 551.072. Thank you. Thank you guys for being here. Today is Tuesday, May 5th. The time is 7:02, and I'm going to, actually, you know what? I got to come back from executive session. All right, there is no action taken in executive session, and there will be action taken now.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion authorizing the city manager or designee to execute and enter into a settlement agreement with Pecos Housing Finance Corporation for dismissal of the appeal filed by Pecos Housing Finance Corporation as part of Pleasanton Housing Finance Corporation and Pecos Housing Finance Corporation versus City of San Marcos, City of Kyle, and Hays County, Texas, in the 8th District Court of Appeals, with payment in the amount of $10,000 from Pecos Housing Finance Corporation to the government plaintiffs.
Second.
Okay,
For
I
the
have
record,
a-
this is item 1C.
I have a motion by Councilmember McKinney and a second by Councilmember Harris. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right. That's 7-0. All right, we are going to go ahead and close out the executive session, and we're going to open up the regular scheduled meeting. All right, we're going to do this all over again. Today is Tuesday, May 5th. The time is 7:04. And I'd like to call this regular scheduled meeting to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Flores Kale,
Here.
Tobias,
Present.
Goza,
Here.
Medina. Here. Zapata,
Here.
Harris,
Here.
McKinney.
Here.
All right, that is 7. We have a quorum. Up next, we're going to do, oh God, I forgot what it was.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of Allegiance. I'm sorry. I was like, I'm going to remember this time. I'm going to remember this time. So if I could have you all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. All right, thank you. Up next, we have, we're going to consider approval of the meetings for April 7th, 2026, April 16th, 2026, April 21st, 2026, and April 21st. That's special, and now this is regular for April 1st, 2026. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right, I have a motion by
Second.
Councilmember Medina and a second by Harris. I'm not Harris, by McKinney. All in favor
We
say
sound a lot
aye.
alike.
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor say aye.
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 All right, that passes 7-0. Up next, we have citizens' comments. The city council welcomes comments from citizens early in the agenda of city council meetings. Those wishing to speak are encouraged to sign in before the meeting begins. Speakers will be provided with an opportunity to speak during this time period on any agenda item or any other matter concerning city business, and we ask that you observe the 3-minute time limit. Okay, up first, I have Don Conley, please.
There, okay. All right, good evening, Mayor and City Council. Please excuse my voice, I'm unwell. My name is Dawn Conley, and I'm a resident of Kyle. I have observed 13 years the evolution of Kyle Market Days, and would like to give some feedback that might help with budgeting, be more inclusive, and build a more pleasant atmosphere. Market Days, when I first participated, didn't really have themes, maybe some Christmas, Founders, I think a squeeze box. It was just a monthly community event. Music was played in the gazebo, and everybody walked around the park visiting vendors. Then we began to grow, and the park layout changed, and the event moved to streets and part of the park. Then we had a stage. Then we had a theme, Juneteenth. Then we began theming the market days with more heritage months. And then we had Market Day themed Pride. And people got upset because Juneteenth wouldn't happen, so now we had 2 market days in June. And then the next year, the calendar showed Juneteenth was happening and Pride Market wasn't happening, and people got upset, so we gave them another second market day in June. And now, here we are, it's May, and this year it's Kyle Fair, and so goodbye to Asian American Pacific Islander themed market day. So did you know that there's over 17 different heritage markets or focused areas between January and November? And here Parks and Recs only focuses on 4. Well, that's not inclusive at all. We're celebrating me. Would you ask Parks and Recs to make 2 market days in October to celebrate my heritage? I would hope not, because that's a waste of money. We can't please everyone, but oh wait, we do try in June. Think about the following. If market days have been themed, maybe theme them to the season. Allow Arts and Cultural Board to set up a booth that showcases each month's heritage celebrations and maybe have some posters and giveaways at their booths. So you're still not losing out on that heritage that draws us together, and you can include more than just 4. Vendors know how to sell their products, so you won't be missing out any themed products. You'll still have summer, you'll still have Pride Month, you'll still have Juneteenth, you might even have more. Now think about the atmosphere and budget. Maybe stop using the stage and bring the music back to the gazebo. The music is so loud and vendors have to yell to make their sales. Many times people are coming into the Krug building asking me to do something about the music, and I don't work for the city. So they give their ears some rest and they go back to the vendors. Have we looked into local bands or even an opportunity to give bands a place to play music? Look at how much we're spending on the cost of bands. Lastly, I know for a fact the following, that people are boycotting some of the market days, and that's sad. Maybe even this year we won't have people at the squeeze box because of ice. So please drop the heritage themes, bring in the Arts and Cultural Board to showcase the heritage months in a designated space, and bring in small bands who want a place to showcase their music. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Up next, I have Michael McDonald.
This is going to be short. Thank you for appointing Pervez Mohit as interim city manager. I know that this is a temporary position, but as budget season is approaching, I believe his leadership is invaluable. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Stephanie McDonald.
Good evening, Mayor Flores Kale and City Council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you tonight. I'd like to ask you to move item number 18 to the top of the discussion. First, I'd like to thank all the boots in the ground City of Kyle employees that support and maintain so many facets of our city. My interactions with our frontline employees are always pleasant. I found these employees to be responsive, courteous, helpful, hardworking, and conscientious. I'm proud of our city employees, and I thank each for their contribution to the city. Next, I would like to thank the mayor and council for appointing Pervez Mohit as interim city manager. It was wise as well as an appropriate choice, especially as we enter budget season. His 16 years of service, as well as his understanding of our city's history throughout those years, will be of great benefit to our city in planning for next year's budget. I hope each member of council is able to speak with him about our issue of debt, which deeply concerns him, as he mentioned a couple of meetings ago. Please listen to thoughts on being fiscally responsible with our tax dollars. Imagine if residents had not pushed back on the $161 million Sportsplex concept. Where would we be today? I have hope that this council will be practical and prudent in our budgetary planning for the upcoming year. And again, I want to thank you for appointing Pervez Mohit as interim city manager. His deep and thorough understanding of our city's financial situation makes him the one most capable to lead us through this budget season. I would again implore the city council to ensure that the new community center being built out not be opened until the fix for the road is complete. Members of council, you bear the burden of your knowledge of the dangers of navigating onto this property, having to turn into the property on a curve in the road. That, coupled with the senior's slower response time, has the potential to lead to a fatal event. Please don't allow even the possibility of this on your watch. Also, on item number 19, Have you checked on the traffic impact and why land given to the city to be used as parkland and a rec center for kids within the city of Kyle and residents be changed to house county offices? Land given to the city should be used for city uses versus county uses. We have so many needs, and why house a probation office in close proximity to two schools? Also, Six Creeks residents, although outside of our city limits, are still part of our community, as are the other members of the ETJ. They contribute to our city through our economy as well as in other ways. Our city has violated Six Creeks development agreement in the outrageous water increases they bear. Our ETJ neighbors also bearing that increase. You've listened to heartbreaking stories from these families as well as other families in various developments in the ETJ. Please focus on these dire needs. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Next, I have Betty Conley.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Betty Conley. I'm the president of the Kyle Area Senior Zone. I'd like to invite you to several events that we are having. The first one is this Thursday, the Senior Expo. It runs from 11 to 2. We have over 40 vendors, and we have silent auction, and it's held at Gemstone Palace, right off of Daisy Lane. The second one is this Saturday, Mother's Day Breakfast. It's May 9th at the Krug Building where the seniors meet. And the pancake breakfast is $6 and runs from 8 a.m. to 11. And I furthermore want to thank you as council, mayor and council for all your hard work. It is hard to be in the seat that you are, and I know we can't please everybody, but I thank you. And I'd like you to move agenda item 18 up to the beginning somewhere. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
All right, thank you. Next, I have Anita Perez.
Good evening, Mayor Flores Kell and Council. My name is Anita Perez, and I live in downtown Kyle. I would like to thank the Mayor and Council for selecting Mr. Pervez Mohit as our interim city manager. Mr. Mohit has been the finance director for the City of Kyle for over 15 years. He has extensive experience in municipal operations. He is also knowledgeable of the city's departments, projects, and budget. Mr. Mohit is a calm, smart, and respectful finance director. He is an excellent choice to help council and the residents during this leadership transition. My family and I believe that Mr. Mohit can ensure stability and leadership as the City of Kyle moves forward and searches for a permanent city manager. I would also like to request that agenda item 18 be moved up in the agenda order. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, up next, I have Carol Dugans. Dogans, I'm sorry. I had 50-50. Thank you.
Everybody gets my name. Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Carol Dogans, and I live in the Kyle ETJ area. Tonight, I want to talk you through what life has looked like month by month from moment that we moved in our new home. Because when you hear the actual timeline, it becomes clear how extreme these water rates truly are. We officially moved in our home October 25th of last year with only 2 people living there. Our sprinklers set was ran once a week, nothing unusual. And for those 10 days of real occupancy, our October bill was $263.57. In November, the sprinkler still on once a week, but we discovered we had a water leak that was repaired. The bill came in at $536. And after the city applied a credit of $117, the final bill was $419. Even with the adjustment, this is an outrageous amount for a household of 2. In December, we turned the sprinklers completely off. The only change that month was that our granddaughter stayed with us for 1 week during her school break, and the bill was $277.74. By January, we became relentless, strict on water usage, no sprinklers. We timed hair washings and showers. We consolidated laundry loads. We monitored every drop of water, and the bill dropped to $222.84. No visitors, just two of us. February, the exact same scenario. Then came March. We turned the sprinklers back on once a week. We had our fence power washed before it was stained. We had a guest stay over a weekend. These are normal, reasonable activities for any household, and the bill shot up to $280. This is outrageous. And here is the truth. The charges may reflect usage, but the rates themselves are excessive and out of proportion to normal household needs. Families should not have to live like this. And now, looking ahead of summer, we already know we must cut back even more because our granddaughter will be staying with us. I've decided not to buy spring flowers and plants because watering them would raise our bill. We would use paper plates and plastic utensils, so we won't run the dishwasher more than twice a week. And despite all of this, we are not allowed to stop watering our lawn because the Crosswinds HOA bylaws. I love a nice yard and green fertilized grass, but these rates make that impossible.
Thank you. Up next, I have Steve Cook.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members, audience members. My name is Stephen Cook. I'm quartermaster at Kyle VFW for 2 more months, and then I'll get replaced. And I'm also vice president of United States Veteran Service Dogs. I'm up here tonight to basically address the city and thank you for still continuing talks about the property at 107 Veterans Drive, but also to the community, because when we initially spoke out about it, the community support was unreal. Our phones ring constantly. What can we do? What can we help? Every program we got has been amplified from the community closet. Shout out to Irvano with Texas Clutter. We were able to house 2 homeless veterans. We just graduated a service dog to another veteran that may not be here. So that being said, we've got national attention from the national VFW to a guy that reached out from Dubai I'm meeting with. So we are making progress here in the city of Kyle. What better than our city to say it is taking care of its veterans through the Kyle VFW and service dog programs. So again, I'm here to thank each and every one of you. To the community from the Kyle VFW and all of us, thank you. It is my grandson's doubleheader Padre baseball game tonight, so I'm gonna head back over there. I told him I had to leave, and he said, "Grandpa, you take care of veterans. I'll see you when you get back." So, thank you, everyone. I'm short. Have a good night.
Thank you. Up next, I have Michelle Guys. You got this.
Good evening. You guys seen me like 3 times now. I'm just trying to figure out what we're gonna do with the housing issues. I've been trying for 3 years now, and with the housing issue, I still, to this day, have been trying for the different resources for U11. I've tried BR3T, I've tried multiple other resources, what y'all provided, and still not a goddamn thing has happened. I am still homeless. I'm living with my kids. I have nothing now because I have not had no help from the city or BUTA with City of Kyle, City of Utah, Hayes County, nothing has been happening, and I want to know why. And I want to know what else are you guys going to do for your guys' resources, because it's shit. Excuse my language, it is. I'm homeless, living with my 18-year-old daughter because of it. So what are you guys going to do to help the situation instead of different little things getting put in different, like your guys' little roundabouts? Focus on the housing. Focus on the kids, because the kids are the number one priority right here. My mind, my mental state right now, because of being no help, pretty much. I've tried so many different times with help, and there's nothing. I have not had anyone said, okay, yeah, we're gonna help you. That's bullshit. I have survived a lot of different things, but this, for the city and Hayes County, for them to pretty much watch the kids just have their own little mental issues, is called discrimination against people with disabilities. And I hope every one of you guys understand that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody, this is all I have for forms. Does anybody else like to come up and speak? All right, seeing none, I'm going to close citizens' comments. Next, we have consent agenda items. Would anybody, no, we don't, I lied. We have agenda order. And so I think we had 3 people asked to move agenda item 18 up. Is anybody opposed to that?
I don't think anybody's got a problem with that.
All right, so I will put that under consent. If you guys are okay with that, it'll go right after consent.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. Next, we have proclamations. A proclamation, agenda item 3 is a proclamation recognizing National Police Week. That is item presenter, Mark McKinney.
Yeah, since Mayor Pro Tem Tobias couldn't be here in person, it is my distinct honor to speak on his behalf. So, whereas there are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Kyle Police Department, and whereas since the first recorded death in 1786, more than 27,350 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty, including 2,280 from the state of Texas. And whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved in the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C., and whereas 363 new names of fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 109 officers killed in 2025 and 254 officers killed in the previous years. And whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund's 38th Candlelight Vigil on the evening of May 13th, 2026. And whereas the Candlelight Vigil is part of the National Police Week, which will be observed this year, May 10th through 16th, and whereas May 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half-staff, therefore be it proclaimed that I, Mark McKinney, in lieu of Michael Tobias, Mayor Pro Tem of Kyle, formally designate the week of May 10th through 16th, 2026 as National Police Week in Kyle, Texas, and publicly salutes the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation.
All right, thank you. Would you like to say anything, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, I want to thank, again, Mark McKinney for stepping up for me. As much as I would love to be there, I will address it as soon as I get back in full health. But I do want to thank our entire Kyle Police Department for all the wonderful work they do, the brave men and women that put on the uniform, and to call this place home. I salute you for everything. And again, I just wanted to thank our police department for everything they've done for our community. And God bless. And again, I got your 6 as well. It is my field that I'm in law enforcement 23 years. So, again, God bless you guys and be safe out there.
All right, anybody else?
I just want to say thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Tobias, for bringing this proclamation forward and for granting me the opportunity to speak on your behalf. Thank you.
Councilmember Harris?
I just want to say thanks to our officers. They are universally respected and of extremely high quality, and we are one of the few police departments in the nation that is fully staffed, and we appreciate that. Thank you.
Councilmember Koza?
I just want to say how much I appreciate the professionalism of our police officers and how well our police department responds to everyday emergencies, investigations, all of those things. It was my privilege earlier this year to do a ride out with our officers, and I can attest to what a fantastic job they do. So thank you so much.
Councilmember Medina?
Reiterate everyone's sayings up here. We do appreciate everything you guys do for our community to keep our community safe. You come here countless hours to keep us safe and watch over us when we're at our meetings. And, really appreciate everything you do for our community.
All right, well, I want to say we are very blessed to have a police department that doesn't have issues that I think you see in other cities. I personally know Commander Gooding, who's not afraid to tell me that he's a commander. I called him officer, and he said, "It's commander." Yes, sir. I love that. I love that. He feels comfortable to do that. And Captain Hernandez, I don't know who else is back here, but we have, Assistant Chief. Oh, sorry. I remember you. And then we have Officer Bates, and we just have a really great police department. My goal as mayor is to see them incorporate a little bit more in our city. I think we should have some one-on-one basketball games against council and the police officers. I think that'd be fun. The top 5 oldest ones, please. But anyways, we are very blessed to have the police department that we do and the leadership that we do, because I feel like it makes me confident that I can offer a city to our residents that has a great quality of life and where people can feel safe and secure. So with that, do we want to take a picture? Picture. All right.
Is it okay if I say something? Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, I apologize. I have an upper respiratory infection, so I'm going to try my best to be audible. But I also just want to thank our police department. Y'all go above and beyond on community engagement efforts and building relationships with our residents, starting them at a young age all the way up into adulthood. And that is something that I fundamentally appreciate, because I think that relationship is so important to overall public and community safety. So I just want to say thank you so much for all that you do.
All right, picture time.
Go. Scoot in, guys. There we go. Oh wait, no, scoot this way. Just everybody take one step to the. Is it your right or left? Sorry. There we go. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Up next, we have a proclamation recognizing Air Quality Awareness Week. Hold on for 1 second. I forgot my glasses. Bless you. All right, whereas poor air quality can threaten our environment, economy, and the health of our residents of the city of Kyle. And whereas children, older adults, people with lung disease, and people with heart disease are particularly affected by poor air quality, which make up half of all residents in Central Texas. And whereas in 2025, air quality in the Austin Round Rock, San Marcos Metropolitan Statistical Area was moderate or worse according to the Air Quality Index for 57% of days. And whereas in 2025, the Austin Round Rock, San Marcos MSA exceeded the federal 8-hour ozone standard, which increases the region's risks of being designated non-attainment. And whereas in 2025, the Austin Round Rock San Marcos MSA exceeded the federal annual fine particulate matter standards for the second year, which increases the region's risk of being designated non-attainment. And whereas remaining in compliance with the NAAQS is important not only for public health, but also for the region's economy and ability to conduct transportation planning. And whereas the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has designated May 4th through the 8th, 2026 as National Air Quality Awareness Week. And whereas the goal of the Central Texas Clean Air Coalition is to maintain compliance with federal air quality regulations and to reduce the impact of air pollution on public health and welfare. And whereas the City of Kyle is committed to the efforts of the Regional Central Texas CAC. Now therefore, the City Council of the City of Kyle does hereby proclaim May 4th through the 8th, 2026 as Air Quality Awareness Week in the City of Kyle and encourages residents and employees to take action to be air aware and educate themselves about local air quality by visiting CapCog's Air Central Texas website at aircentraltexas.org and by promoting air quality and air quality awareness within our community. Does anybody have anything they want to state? I mean, air quality to me is just like, it's so important, and I don't think it's something that we think about. And so when I got an email asking to do a proclamation for that, I was like, absolutely. It's, we are very blessed to have the quality of air that we have. And I've been to other Texas cities that have refineries, and you can see within the residents, you can see they have problems breathing, they have asthma. I mean, little kids, you're just kind of born into that. And so for that, I am grateful. So if we have nothing more to say, we'll.
Agreed. We definitely take for granted the air quality we have, and anything we can do to improve it, we should probably focus on.
I agree. All right. Up next, a proclamation recognizing Public Service Appreciation Week. This is sponsored by myself, Melissa Medina, Councilmember Medina, and Councilmember Zapata. I'm going to give it over to Councilmember Medina.
Whereas public service is a calling rooted in deep, selfless commitment to the well-being, safety, and prosperity of the community. And whereas Public Service Recognition Week is celebrated annually during the first full week of May, and in 2026 will be observed May 3rd through 9th to honor the dedicated and impact of federal, state, county, and local government employees. And whereas established in 1985, Public Service Recognition Week serves to honor public servants, educate the public about the vital work they perform, and promote careers in government by celebrating stories of excellence in public service and the essential contributions of public servants, from 911 operators to wastewater operators and librarians, whose work underpins the success of communities, ensures essential services, and upholds the principles of democracy. And whereas the City of Kyle, Texas is served by 471 dedicated public service employees whose daily efforts ensure that essential services, programs, and operations are delivered with professionalism, integrity, and care. And whereas these employees are committed to providing excellent customer service, developing proactive solutions, and offering inclusive community programming that enables all residents to participate in and fully benefit from city services and programs. And whereas through their work across all departments, City of Kyle employees strengthen public trust, enhance quality of life, and help build a vibrant, welcoming, and resilient community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Kyle, Texas, does hereby proclaim May 3rd through 9th, 2026 as Public Service Recognition Week, and extend sincere appreciation and gratitude to the 471 City of Kyle employees whose commitment and service make our community a better place to live, work, and thrive. Signed and entered this 5th day of May 2026.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Zapata, would you like to say anything?
Yes, so I just want to say that our staff is absolutely amazing. All 471 of you are necessary in order for the vision of council to be carried out, in order for our residents to receive the services and essential services that they need every single day in order to live. And as someone who has worked in the public sector my entire life, I know that if you really wanted to, you could probably go somewhere else and make a lot more money in the private sector. So you do this because you genuinely care. You have to have a passion for the public and a genuine love for the public to do this every single day. So I just want to recognize that and say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Well, I am going to say we would not have a city if not for our public servants. I really appreciate all the time and effort they put. I've been to different events and I've seen the staff really just work in their overtime. You go to any Parks and Rec, or if you watch public utilities or our administrative staff, they're working hours and hours of overtime. And so for that, I do say thank you. I appreciate it. All right, up next, we have a proclamation recognizing Motorcycle Safety Month. May I ask if Greg? Okay, so I was requested by a resident he's like, what do I do to get this on there? And I said, say less. Like, as long as you show up, I'll do a proclamation for motorcycle safety. And so in the end, you're more than welcome to have the proclamation if you'd like. Whereas the open road is a symbol of freedom and opportunity, and for many in our community, motorcycling is not only a mode of transportation, but a way of life grounded in responsibility, respect, and pride. And whereas the Lone Star State is home to one of the nation's largest motorcycle riding populations, and it is vital that all motorists become more aware of everyone they share the road with, especially motorcyclists. And whereas too many lives are lost or forever changed each year due to preventable motorcycle crosses, reminding us that awareness, patience, and vigilance can mean the difference between tragedy and a safe return home. And whereas wearing proper safety gear, following traffic laws, and remaining alert are essential steps that riders can take to protect themselves, while motorists must do their part by checking blind spots, allowing safe distances, and recognizing that motorcycles have the same rights to the road. And whereas education and community engagement are powerful tools to strengthen a culture of safety and mutual respect among all who use our roads. Now therefore, I, Yvonne Flores-Kell, Mayor of the City of Kyle, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month, and call upon all Kyle residents to take part by utilizing the many resources available to them to learn more about motorcycle safety, and by driving with care, riding with responsibility, and looking out for one another. Let us move forward together with a shared purpose, knowing that when we choose awareness over distraction and patience over haste, we honor not only the riders among us, but the values that bind us as a community. Signed and entered onto this 5th day of May, 2026. Would you like to come up and say anything? No? Okay. Well, would anybody like to say anything? Councilmember Harris?
You may not, from my image right now, know this, but I'm a hippie chick, biker chick from long way back. My husband rode a full-dress Harley, police-grade Harley, and we had so much fun on that bike. It was wonderful, and the feeling of freedom is amazing, and the camaraderie in the biker community was amazing, and I really appreciate you bringing this forward for us. The safety is absolutely crucial, not just motorcycles, but bicycles. We continually have accidents that result in death, and that is inexcusable. It just should not happen. Every time I see a bunch of motorcycles coming through Kyle, I want to jump on the back. So thank you so much. Ride safe and enjoy it. Enjoy life.
All right, up next, Councilmember McKinney.
I rode for many, many, many years, and then I sold my bike when I bought the house I'm in now, and I have missed it tremendously every day since. I was actually at a Harley dealership on Thursday looking around. Yeah, there's a sense of freedom that you really don't get with any other mode of transportation. Until you've experienced it firsthand, you really can't fully appreciate it or describe it. There is an inherent level of danger that comes with it, and as people who share the road with our two-wheeled brethren, we got to take some additional responsibility and try and make sure that they get where they're going. They got somebody that's going to miss them if they don't make it. I always back off a little bit, give some extra space, because you never know. Even during the daytime, if I've got a motorcycle in front of me, I'll make sure my headlights are on. That makes you a little bit easier to see in those little teeny tiny mirrors. There's just so many little things that we can do if we just take the time to become aware and educate ourselves on how to keep motorcyclists safer. So I appreciate you bringing this forward. So.
Anybody else?
Yes, this is Tobias. What a great idea, proclamation to bring forward, and whoever was that easy rider that's in the audience that wanted to bring this forward, it's great education. Because we do need to be aware as our city streets are getting more and more crowded, we have to make sure that we are aware of all of the vehicle traffic, including motorcycles that are in the area. And again, to those riders that I sometimes see that kind of cross in the middle of the lanes, please be aware that sometimes we may not see you when you're coming up right behind us, or you're on the side, or you're driving on the side of the road or in the emergency lane. Please be careful, and also wear your protective gear, because we're going to do our best as drivers to be able to be aware where you're at. But again, make sure that you also follow the laws and follow the reasons to where we're all going in the same place. But for that person that brought it forward, thank you for bringing this awareness to our community about our motorcycles.
Yes, I do appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to draft and work on this. The one thing that it taught me that was important is just to have patience. I think in this Kyle traffic, we all need to have a little bit more patience, but especially looking out for those on their bikes. So thank you. The things I'll do to get people here. All right, up next, agenda item 7, recognize the Kyle employees of the quarter for fiscal year 2026, quarter 2. This recognition honors employees who exemplify the city's core values of teamwork, accountability, integrity, visionary leadership, and transparency. This is sponsored by Julie Beggs.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. I appreciate the opportunity to take a moment tonight to be able to share with you, our elected body and our community, the contributions of these employees. My name is Julie Beggs. I serve as the Director of Talent and Culture for the City of Austin, for the City of Kyle, and I'm here for the Employee of the Quarter. Sorry, it's all this talk. We're excited to share the names of these employees, and also I would ask the recipients, when you hear your name, if you will please join me up at the podium. As a reminder, we do look at our core values that were adopted and recommended by our employees last year, and we've asked our employees that when you see your colleagues, your peers working alongside of you that are demonstrating these core values for the city, take a moment and let's recognize them. These are peer submitted. They are submitted throughout the quarter, and then they are voted on by employees, not managers or supervisors, but employees, so that they can select those that they've seen working alongside of them. The first is Amanda Acosta. She's recognized for visionary leadership. And you'll see tonight as well that we have employees that have loved ones here, friends, family, parents, their chain of command. So I thank them for taking time to be here to support them. On March 19, 2026, a resident visited the office to discuss concerns related to construction on his street. To better understand the issue, Amanda personally drove to West Blanco Street to observe the conditions firsthand. After investigating and coordinating with Public Works and Transportation and the Engineering Department, Amanda was able to provide an update to 311 and confirm that the resident would be notified regarding how concerns would be addressed. March 2026 also marks 1 year since the city began offering 311 services to residents. Amanda has led the development of the program from the ground up, including employee training, community outreach and marketing, and the implementation of the supporting software. The response from the community has been overwhelmingly positive. Her leadership and vision have been instrumental in the successful launch of this new service for Kyle residents. And under her guidance, the 311 team has achieved record response time, consistently delivered friendly and knowledgeable service, and effectively assisted residents with reporting issues and accessing information about city services. Thank you, Amanda. She will receive, and we have an award for her. Take that. Congratulations to you. You can stay up here with us if you want. The next core value is for accountability, and we'd like to recognize Jonathan Lopez from our water utility. Jonathan Lopez embodies accountability. To name a specific time or moment would be impossible due to the fact that he has set and maintained some of the higher standards of accountability and dependability that it has become the norm. There is never a moment when the department needs someone to step up that Jonathan isn't the first person to volunteer himself. He is dependable, accountable, trustworthy, and hardworking. If the city were made up only of Jonathan Lopez's, we'd be lacking nothing. Congratulations, Jonathan. Good job. Integrity, Sierra Chamberlain. Sierra is a quintessential part of the police department. While her title is crime analyst, she does so much more. She goes above and beyond all aspects of her work and takes on roles and projects beyond the scope of her title. I nominated her in particular for her integrity, writes the nominator. Sierra is not one to let something go, to think someone else will take care of it. When an issue arises, she fixes it herself or reaches out to get it fixed immediately. This is extremely important in a police department where people's trust that we are handling their data and cases with integrity and honesty. She's extremely sharp and catches anomalies in our system quickly before they become an issue. She's given many important projects beyond casework, like administering computer systems and databases, and we appreciate her daily. Sierra is not here tonight, but I think AC is going to come up and accept on her behalf. Thanks. Thank you, sir. Teamwork, Dylan Saunderson from Finance Department. Dylan consistently exemplifies the spirit of teamwork through his collaborative approach, responsiveness, and commitment to supporting others across the organization. As budget manager, Dylan plays a critical role in connecting departments, leadership, and financial strategy, always ensuring that every voice is heard and every team is equipped for success. He actively partners with departmental leaders to guide them through complex budget processes, translating financial concepts into clear, actionable insights. Dylan is known for his willingness to step in, provide hands-on support, and foster an environment of trust and shared problem solving. Whether working through budget development, financial analysis, or system implementation, Dylan consistently prioritizes collaboration over silos, helping elevate the entire organization. His positive attitude, reliability, and team-first mindset make him a valued partner and a key contributor to the City of Kyle's continued success. Congratulations. And transparency. I'd like to welcome Jesus from our library. Jesus is an inspiration to others in how he shines at sharing our city resources. He can be seen all around our community representing the city in the KPL Mobile Library and Outreach Partnership events, showcasing how the library and its services are an asset to Kyle. His love for the library shows in all that he does at a city event. Retirement and apartment visits, daycare storytime visits, literacy nights at a school, and when working in the library. Jesus also represents Kyle Public Library as a board member of ABOS, the Association of Bookmobile and Outreach Services. Jesus is the ultimate collaborator of City of Kyle services to our community and inspires others to do the same. Thank you, Jesus. Congratulations. Thank you so much for supporting these team members and for letting us share with our community what they're bringing to the job every day, and for your support as our elected officials. We couldn't do it without you, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Of course, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And your hair looks great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna take a picture.
Of course.
Yeah.
Do you want us to stand up here?
What? Do we have enough room? Yeah, girl, come on.
Yeah, y'all can do it down here. Yep. I'll lower this a little.
Yeah, show them where
There we go. All right. Oh, perfect. That worked out great. 1, 2. Awesome. Congratulations.
All right, I do want to briefly say that we truly have some great staff, and so thank you to even the ones that don't. If we had to stand here and do all recognition, we'd be here all night. So I'm sure to pick those top ones out was difficult. So anyways, we love our staff. I love our staff, and I am very appreciative of them. Councilmember McKinney?
Yeah, I was reserving my comments from the Public Service Appreciation Week for this. I always felt like anytime I got a recognition from my peers, it just carried more weight. And, you know, I've been saying for as long as I've been elected, like, my staff make me look good. Like, they do a phenomenal job. And to be recognized as the cream of the crop or standouts in an already, you know, standout organization, like, that's a huge testament. So, you know, every one of you guys should be proud for this recognition.
All right, anybody else? All right, moving on, we're going to go to consent agenda. Would anybody like to pull anything from consent? Me neither. All right, would anybody like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve agenda items 8 through 14.
Second. I have a motion by Councilmember McKinney, a second by myself. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
We have 7-0. Okay, up next, we're going to pull up agenda item 18. All right, agenda item 18, consider approval of a resolution appointing Perez A. Mohit as the interim city manager for a term of 12 months, setting his interim salary at $270,758 annually, providing that his title shall be interim city manager and finance director, setting an effective date of the appointment as May 9th, 2026, and resolving other matters related thereto. This is sponsored by Mayor Pro Tem Tobias, so he's going to start it.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, for that recognition. But before I begin, I would like to acknowledge our acting city manager, Mr. Brian Langley. And I want to personally thank him for what he has done for our city and the service that he has provided. And we've had many conversations before about my district, and you've helped me out a lot. And I just wanted to recognize you, Mr. Langley, before you leave. I know this is probably going to be your last meeting, but I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of myself and the rest of the DICE. I could probably speak for the DICE and especially those in my district that we really appreciate your hard work that you provided. You have other opportunities elsewhere, and I wish you the best of luck. And that's what I wanted to bring forth is some recognition for you too, sir. So thank you very much on that end. So what I wanted to do is kind of go over just the reason why we went the route we did. We did have two individuals that were willing to step up to the plate for this intern position. Both had many years of experience and knowledge. Both displayed great, excellent leadership and showed true professionalism. But I think in this regard here, we have to kind of look at it in the sense of where we are in our budget. We have a lot of projects. We have a lot of other acting items that we have going forward. And this is going to be very critical for us this year. We're going to have a very challenging and a very possibly, just a very challenging budget season we have this year. If you want to start looking at it from an economic standpoint, we need to start from there. It's coming from a national level all the way down to a state and to a city. Right now, we have on a personal levels, we got families that are struggling. We got gas prices that are at $4.15 a gallon. We are going to be having, unfortunately, Hayes ISD teachers being laid off. So that's going to affect everything like that. We need to start working on how we can start working on our budget, our property taxes, most important, our water rates, to get some of that under control. And so that is the reason why I think we felt in this dire point in our city and our change of command that we look at getting somebody on board that is very familiar with our financing, with our budgets, that has many years of experience with Kyle and its growth. And so that is why when Pervez Mohit was nominated, felt at the time that he could lead us into this budget season that's at a very, very critical state. Now, we're not out of the woods yet. This is an intern position. There are going to be people that I hope that would apply for this for full time. But if you would like for me to acknowledge that, Mayor, I can, as far as the resolution, or if Miss Amy Reed would like to continue on that. But I wanted to just bring that forward on that end. So what we have here is a resolution for the City Council of the City of Kyle to appoint Pervez Mohit as the interim city manager for a minimum term of 12 months, setting his intern annual salary, maintaining that his title shall be intern city manager and director of finance, setting an effective date of what we have. I believe it's going to be May the 9th, I believe, here as I look down. He will serve as interim manager, if approved, for a minimum of 12 months at the set rate of the salary that the mayor had just proposed on that. In addition to the title of Mayor Mohit, he will retain the title as finance director for the duration of his appointment. And as stated in many sections here, as section 4, during the duration he will serve as interim, he shall not be required to reside within the city limits of the city of Kyle and shall be entitled to accrue vacation leave in excess of the minimum amount of leave allowed on that end. And then as we go down to, if we can continue to read on down to section 6, throughout his time serving as interim manager, if selected, if this goes through, Mr. Mohit will be authorized to maintain his office in the city hall and to the administrator and conduct all city business in the capacity as the interim manager. As the interim city manager, Mohit will have all powers and duties of the city manager as set out as the city charter. Specifically, Mr. Mohit shall have the complete and full authority and powers to carry out and perform administrative and managerial duties and responsibilities of the city manager of the city in Kyle, includes but not limited to the following responsibilities. Under A, Section A of the Administrative Managerial Responsibilities, to authorize, reorganize, and consolidate or rename departments, divisions within the city of Kyle. Personnel management, the authority to reassign duties as employees and selected as employees, or establish compensation and approve and determine disciplinary actions, demotions, suspensions, and effective of any position, an employee of the city except and limited by law, the city charter, and the city meet and conflict agreement. And then, of course, most important, what we need to understand on this is in section 6 and C, the budget and cost management, the authority to implement any necessary cost containment measures impacting operating and capital budget expenditures to maintain fiscal responsibility expected and limited by law and by our city charter. And that, Mayor, I would turn over to you.
All right, thank you. Would you like to do the presentation?
If you don't mind, I would love to take a minute to go through at least our slide about Pervez.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mohit has been our finance director since 2010. He's been with the city a long time, and he has faithfully served the residents of the city of Kyle in his position as finance director. Prior to his time here, he spent more than 30 years working for the city of Austin. That means he has quite a lot of government experience, probably more than a lot of the people that work here, and probably most. Also note, Pervez is a certified public accountant. He received his BBA in accounting from the University of Texas at Austin, hook 'em, and we're very excited to have him continue to serve. And personally, I'm excited to sit next to him during these meetings for his term as interim city manager, so I think it's going to be a great fit, and we're all very happy about it. I'm primarily here to answer any questions you have about the resolution. The proposed resolution does set the effective date as May 9th, 2026. It sets an interim salary at $270,758. I will note that that salary would be retained when he returns to his position as finance director. And then he will also, if he returns to his position as finance director and doesn't decide to go for this full time, I don't know what his plans are. In addition to the title of interim city manager, Mr. Mohit will retain the title of director of finance to ensure continuity. And so the options are to approve or deny the resolution. I personally recommend approving this resolution. I think any delay in appointing an interim city manager would be potentially problematic for the organization.
All right, do we have any questions, comments, motions?
I'd like to make a motion to approve agenda item 18.
Second. So we have a motion by Councilmember Medina and a second by myself. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, all opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next, we have agenda item
Thank you.
15. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Tobias. Now, maybe we should see if Mr. Mohit would like to say something before we go. No pressure, but.
Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem, council members, thank you for your support. And since we have the remainder of the agenda to go, so I'm going to be super brief. I'm looking forward to working with y'all as council, working with our residents and our city staff to ensure that our City of Kyle organization continues to move forward in this transitional period and to ensure that we are responsive, we'll continue to be responsive, transparent, and accountable. So with that, I thank you again for your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Say, come back. All right. I do want to say thank you to Mr. Mohit for being willing to put himself out there for this position. I've known Mr. Mohit since 2020, and he probably is the most patient person I've ever dealt with besides my husband. And so I'm excited that we all get the opportunity to work with you, even if for a limited amount of time. So thank you very much for stepping up. We're done? Okay, up next. Agenda item 15, consider approval of a resolution of the City of Kyle, Texas, determining the cost of a certain authorized improvements to be financed with improvement area number 6 of the Six Creeks Public Improvement District, approving a preliminary service and assessment plan updated for improvement number 6, including a proposed improvement area number 6 assessment roll, directing the filing of the proposed improvement area number 6 assessment roll with the city secretary to make available for public inspection, noticing a public hearing for May 19th, 2026, to consider an ordinance levying assessments on property located within improvement area number 6 of the Six Creeks Public Improvement District, directing city staff to publish and mail notice of said public hearing and resolving other matters incident and related thereto. We have
Hello, my name is Chris Guevara. I'm an attorney at Norton Rose Fulbright. I know you guys are used to seeing Stephanie Livey here, who is my boss. She was not able to make it tonight. She's traveling from Corpus Christi this evening. So I wanted to ask, would it be possible for City Council to consider items 15 and 16 together because they are related?
Absolutely, you bet. Let me read number 16. Consider approval of a resolution of the City of Kyle, Texas, approving the form and authorizing the distribution of a preliminary limited offering memorandum for the City of Kyle, Texas, special assessment revenue bonds, Series 2026, Six Creeks Public Improvement District Improvement Area Number 6 project relating to the financing of approximately $18,288 in authorized improvements for the district and resolving other matters incident and related thereto.
Thank you. And just as a little bit of background for item 15, that's the cost determination resolution, which approves the preliminary service and assessment plan for the Six Creeks Public Improvement District. That service and assessment plan sets out the estimated costs of the improvements that are being constructed in improvement area number 6. Before that process is completed, as you'll notice in the cost determination resolution, it sets a public hearing for May 19th, when we would come back and hold the public hearing on the assessment levy and or the city would have the option to adopt the final version of the service and assessment plan. And item number 16 is the preliminary limited offering memorandum for the bonds related to the assessment levy. That document is used by the underwriter of the PID bonds to market the bonds for investors. So that's why I asked that we bring the items together. So I think we can, let's see if I can. I think we can advance the slideshow one. Or am I in control of that?
I don't know. Who's in control? Here comes Marco.
There we go.
To save the day.
I think I did it. Okay.
Thank you, Marco.
Thank you so much. So as a background on the Public Improvement District, the district was created in June of 2017 as the Blanco River Ranch Public Improvement District. It was subsequently named the Six Creeks Public Improvement District in 2018. Since the approval of the PID, I believe 8 series of bonds have been issued for the various improvement areas 1 through 5, the latest of which was improvement area 5 last year in February. The PID's being used to finance the construction of certain public improvements, and it's being used as a reimbursement mechanism to pay the developer, HM Six Creeks Development, for constructing those improvements, which were dedicated to the city. So this is a map of the Six Creeks Public Improvement District. It's color-coded. So improvement area number 6 is the shaded in blue at the very top and center of the map of the district. So our current steps, right now the developer has completed the improvement area number 6 projects, which are the improvements benefiting improvement area number 6, such that a series of PID bonds for those improvements may be issued. The cost determination resolution approves the preliminary service and assessment plan for the district and sets out the estimated costs of those improvement area number 6 projects. Those are estimated in the service and assessment plan at $18,288,000 at this time. The amounts may change possibly with pricing of the bonds if this item is passed and we move on to that step on May 19th. The Plum resolution, as I mentioned earlier, it's related to the bonds that would be issued based on that assessment levy. It describes the bonds and is used to market them to investors. Essentially, the levy creates the repayment mechanism for those bonds, such that when they're issued, no revenues of the city or ad valorem taxes would be used to pay them back, just the assessments that would be levied by the city. This slide is pulled from the preliminary service and assessment plan, so it still is preliminary, but it shows the assessments per lot based on the lot size. There's 3 lot sizes in improvement area number 6, 55 foot, 60 foot, and 70 foot, total of 242 lots. And under the assessment per lot and average annual installment, you'll see the average annual installment reflects the average installment for each of those lot sizes every year. So if the resolution is approved by the City Council tonight, city staffing consultants would go ahead and publish notice of the May 19th public hearing in the Austin American-Statesman, and will mail notice to all property owners in improvement area number 6. At the May 19th meeting, the City Council would conduct a public hearing concerning the levy of the assessments, where any interested member of the public could speak. Once the hearing is concluded, the City Council would consider both the levy of assessments and the issuance of bonds as 2 separate agenda items that would both need to be passed to issue the bonds.
Okay, I do have a question for staff, if you'll go back. Why is it not being it's in the Austin American-Statesman, and why not a local newspaper, like the Hayes Free Press?
I think as a practical matter, the Hayes Free Press publication deadline usually runs ahead of the tonight's City Council meeting. We would have had to submit it prior to the City Council meeting and approving this resolution. The Austin American-Statesman has much more a quick turnaround with submitting, notice, such that the notice could be submitted. The notice could be submitted after the meeting, if the resolution is passed, and then published just a few days later, and those costs are borne by the developer.
Okay, for future, I would like to see it, if you're going to do the Austin American, that's fine, but I would like to see it in a local newspaper, just for our residents in case they have any kind of interest in that.
Agreed. Is there any harm in doing both?
I don't think there's not necessarily harm. It's just it would be difficult to do the Hayes Free Press one at this moment, because we would have to submit the notice before the resolution authorizing or calling the hearing is passed. So it's kind of like
Have we considered, I'm sorry, Mayor.
Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Have we considered the San Marcos Daily Record, and what about the San Antonio Express News? I mean, how do we determine which newspapers are getting the hearings on these? Like I said, I understand your reasoning on the Hayes Free Press, but what about other publications that surround the area? Because I know San Antonio Express News sometimes piggybacks a lot of our local news on that end, and that I think it would get to a lot more people if we look at other publications. What do you think, guys?
I don't think that that many people here read the San Antonio News. But I wonder if, I don't think the law allows us to publish on websites. That doesn't count, right? Because if it's published on our website, we could publish it tonight.
Right. No, the law requires that it be published in a newspaper of general circulation 10 days, or really 11 days prior to the assessment levy. So it would have to be published in a print newspaper.
So to do it in the Hayes Free Press, we would have to take our vote like a week earlier or 2 weeks earlier than when we are anticipating taking the action?
Yes, the way this is structured is we're meeting here tonight to pass to consider the preliminary service and assessment plan, and then possibly call the hearing for May 19th, because that meeting date is exactly 14 days from tonight, we only have 10 days because of the statute. So for a lot of newspapers, typically local newspapers, you have to submit like a week before the publication date. And because of the close nature of the two meetings, it's just very difficult to get it in to the newspaper after you all have deliberated and passed the resolution and actually called the hearing.
Okay, so I will say, I'll preface with this. I've seen the Hayes Free Press publish something that we've voted on the night before. And so what I would like to do is maybe next time give it to them in advance and say, we'll give you a heads up or an email. If you can publish this, that would be great. So that way it's going to be in our local newspaper. And I think Councilmember Harris is also right. Like, could we do this a little bit earlier? Could we be more timely? I just know a lot of locals read that newspaper, and I think it's important for them to be aware.
Understood.
Okay, thank you.
I guess to clarify my question, does the 11-day window have to apply to every publication? Or would the Austin American Statesman qualify for the 11 days and then as the Hayes Free Press got to publication?
So the 11-day requirement applies to all publications. It doesn't matter which one you use. It's just that it's because the meetings are 2 weeks apart, and we didn't want to presume that we could submit it early and just pull it if it didn't pass tonight. Now that we know that, maybe we'll change things in the future, and we're likely to utilize a local newspaper. But the only difference is just that the Austin American Statesman is pretty quick in terms
Chris, I think the question was, if we publish in the Austin American Statesman and that's our official publication, if we chose to optionally publish in other newspapers, could we do it at a later date?
Yeah, I think so. I think as long as you have one publication that meets the requirements of the statute, you could publish it a second time in a separate newspaper that, wouldn't meet the requirements of the statute, but if the city wants to publish more than once, they can certainly take that action.
Okay, thank you. You can go in. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. You're good.
So yeah, the next steps were just, publishing notice, and then on May 19th, the public hearing and the agenda items for, the levy of assessments and issuance of bonds will be considered separately. Our recommendation is to approve the resolutions. Of course, the city council can either approve the resolutions or deny them. If there are any modifications to the resolutions, we ask that the items be tabled because the plum and everything, it's all tied to a hard sale of PIT bonds. So if there were changes, we would have to go back and change the underlying documents as well.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions or comments? Oh, okay, well, with that, I'd like to approve agenda items number 15 and 16.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by myself and a second by Councilmember McKinney. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, looks like it's 6-0. Hi, thank you very
Thank you.
much. Up next, we have agenda item number 17. Consider a request for exceptions from Chapter 41 subdivisions of the City of Kyle Code of Ordinances related to detention, drainage, flood mitigation, and sidewalks for the property located at 200 Veterans Drive, Kyle, Texas. This item is going to be postponed. 2 seconds. Would you like to say?
Yes, ma'am. I just was going to let y'all know that the applicant couldn't make it here tonight. That's why he's requesting the postponement to that date certain, June 2nd. But just if y'all had any questions for me.
Do you have any concerns regarding any of these exceptions?
Yeah, quite a few. I don't know if you want me to go through them now or wait till Mr. Hall's here, but I always have some concerns when we're talking about drainage, pedestrian sidewalks, some of those issues. I don't think I have concerns with any of the recommendations that P&Z came out or some of the alternative compliances, but anytime we waive or requesting to waive regulations like that, as a planner, we always do have some concern.
Okay, would anybody like to see the presentation?
I think we can wait until.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and wait then. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you. All right, next, we have agenda item 19. Receive a report and hold a discussion regarding Hayes County Administrative Building located at Kyle Vista. Item presented, Rosie Trulove.
Good evening, everyone. Here to talk about the potential Hayes County Eastside Campus. I'd like to recognize that we have the County Administrator, Candace Boutte, and Commissioners Inglesby and Cohen in the audience, as well as representatives of theirs that are going to be doing the bulk of the presentation. So we executed a memorandum of understanding in August of 2025 that allows for the development of the City of Kyle and Hayes County combined project with the Hayes County Building, Animal Services, and the build-out of Kyle Vista Park, recognizing that the greatest benefit to both parties came from combining these projects. The overview of the Hayes County Building project: 40-year ground lease for the 13.2-acre tract with set renewals, total payment for property with market value of the land, and an opportunity for a cost premium of $3.7 million, which would be dedicated for the Kyle Vista Park build-out. Facility to meet county needs and adhere to both Kyle and Hayes County architectural standards with landscaping and design aesthetics. Reinvestment of county payment back into the site following the PROS master plan with enhancements including amenities, roads, landscaping, trails, etc. And creating an ad hoc committee for evaluating timelines, updates, and a harmonious design. I think at this point, I would invite Candace up to introduce her team or make any comments that she might want to make. Or you want to wait until after? We're going to wait until after. Okay, great. And so then I'm going to ask, I want to get my names right, Nick Thanos with Kitchell, and Stephen Knowles and Mike Vanderwall with HDR to come forward.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City staff. Nick Thanos with Kitchell, Senior Project Manager. Kitchell was hired by the Hayes County a little over a year ago to manage this project, and just wanted to give you all a quick update on the status of the project. And so over the past year, we've accomplished quite a few things related to this project. We've completed a needs assessment. We've started negotiations with the city, as you know. We've developed a conceptual design for the project, which helped us develop a project budget. We are currently wrapping up schematic design and concurrently in the process of procuring services for construction manager at risk and commissioning agent, and hoping to bring them on in the next month or so to our team. And so to continue this conversation, as Rosie mentioned, I'd like to call up our design team from HDR, and they'll walk you through the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Miles Vanderwall. I'm an architect and studio lead with a HDR office in San Antonio. We're honored to be up here on behalf of Hayes County to show you what we've been working on for the last several months. I'd love to turn it over to Steve Knowles so that he can walk you through what we've been working on.
Stephen Knowles. So I am a design principal with HDR, so I get the pleasure of working with a lot of really creative people that really listen hard to try to bring projects to the community. So we had the pleasure of working with the commissioners and also with staff and also with leadership from Hayes County to really figure out what this building could be, especially if it's going to be put in the city of Kyle as an extension of all these services that they have, and they know that as your growing community is happening, that you need to have a lot more services that they want to get closer to your citizens. So as we started the project, I wanted to talk a little bit about today some of the departments. So we have about 175 people that will be at this facility that are citizens of Kyle and from the surrounding area that are here to help service the community. We'll talk a little bit about the interiors, the kind of look and feel that we are trying to bring with this kind of living room for the community. And then, of course, some of the things that as we're trying to have the site be tied back to the whole park and kind of community resources that are there. And then some of the exterior design that you'll see. And then if there's any questions that we could answer, we'll have that. So the building is, it's actually a timber frame building that we're trying to build as some of our kind of sustainability goals, not only with water, but we're also looking at other resources in the community. And so how do we start to use those? It's a 3-story building. The ground floor has a lot of the kind of services. We have the elections office, we have the tax office, we have a small JP court, so if you have to deal with some resolution between some disagreements, you have that available. And then we have other services that are also there. These are all kind of extension services. They're not the main location for these services. And then we go up to the second floor, and we'll have some amenities for the staff that are working there. We also have some offices that will be shared with the City of Kyle, along with the commissioners. And then we also are looking at, on the ground floor, the elections office really becoming a flexible space for the community to use. And so in addition to the living room, which we'll talk a little bit about, those become, I think, amenities to the community in the City of Kyle. On the next page, as we kind of come into the front door, I mean, that experience of as you're coming in to use these services, it was really important to kind of make sure that it was welcoming as you come in. In the next slide, we really kind of built this, the idea of this kind of 2-story living room space. So as you're sitting there waiting for taxes or maybe doing some other, taking care of some other needs that you have with the Hays County, it really becomes a place to kind of sit and relax. And so this is kind of looking back towards the tax office and the community room. In the next slide, we also have this kind of 2-story wall. This is kind of where circulation, where the elevators that get up to other services. It also becomes a kind of a story that we can start to tell about the area with regards to, how are we thinking about vegetation? How are we thinking about the waterways? And so we're looking at this room as a living room that we really make as a resource for the community. And really, a lot of these public sources are being tied back that are visible as people come in. We're working with a lot of local materials, as you can see, local stone, bringing the wood elements in, and then as we use other elements for screening and metals, we want to make sure that they're all kind of rich colors that kind of fit with the community. And so as you can see here from the kind of exterior, this is kind of the morning shot. We're hoping as staff and the community comes to the building, it's a very welcoming building. As we move around the building, we know that it's going to be important that all sides of this, as it faces back to the neighbors, we want to make sure it's a very rich and a nice building for them. But a lot of daylight for the staff inside. In the bigger picture, with the park and the other buildings that we've done in the area, we wanted to make sure that this one kind of sits nicely, and we really have set up a nice front lawn. I think as we have parking for the public to come to this facility. We have parking for the 175 people working there, but we also want to make sure there's enough landscape. And so our landscape team is going to start to develop this a little bit more as we move into the kind of next level of design. But walking paths, could there be, how the front lawn could be used for events and other kinds of activities, and of course the connection. And so this view here is just kind of looking down, some of the parking, but you can see a lot of these green areas that we're going to start to figure out how to kind of stitch those back to the other park developments. And then just kind of a three-dimensional view, but the idea that this really becomes the front door to the community, so that kind of connection between Hays and the City of Kyle, Hays County and the City of Kyle becomes really important. We wanted to make sure it had the civic quality and felt like it was a good addition to the park and the surrounding neighbors. And then we're, again, working with the stones and materials and the daylight. And on the back side, we've got a kind of amenity patio that also is on the north side shaded so that people can take a break in the middle of the day. So staff is energized and also have connection to the park. And then, of course, we'll have tax services where people can drive up. So if they didn't want to sit and wait, they could actually come through. So a lot of kind of conveniences for the community. This Hays County has really worked hard. Commissioner and staff have really worked hard to try to make sure that we are offering these support for City of Kyle. So So that was pretty quick, but love to answer any questions you have, and Miles is good with the clicker, so we can go back and forth.
I appreciate that. All right, we're going to do like a round robin style, so that way I can make sure everybody has an opportunity to talk. Councilmember Argoza, do you have any questions?
I'm sure more will come up as people start talking, but that is a lot of glass. How are we going to manage like the reflective qualities, protect it like from extreme hailstorms that we might have? It just seems like it's a lot.
So we're bringing a lot of daylight. I mean, some of the window sizes look probably bigger than they are. You'll see kind of a darker panel that's underneath there. So what's nice, because it's a timber building, the floor to floors are actually closer together. But one of the things that's nice about it is that we have wood ceilings, and so we're exposing that. So it feels like it's grander space, even though the building's actually smaller. But that also makes the windows feel like they're bigger. So there's things that are kind of visually being done that make things feel like they're probably bigger than they really are. But a lot of it, the glass, we look at high performance glass, so how it shades the people inside, that's going to be very important to us. Comfort, we know 115-degree day here in Central Texas can get a little ominous, and so these windows will definitely be high performance. And then there's different ways in which we can treat them so that we're not getting glare and stuff like that.
Okay. Are we looking at any products like for paving for sidewalks, things like that, that are permeable rather than creating a lot of impervious cover?
Councilmember, that's a great question. There are things like that that we'll be looking at because, water management is going to be something that I think both Hays County and the team have been really thinking about. And I think as we work through the landscaping and, different ways in which we can handle crushed granites or other ways to get those permeable surfaces, we will definitely be bringing that to the table.
Okay. And I would really like to see water retention, so rainwater storage, things along those lines. And hopefully we'll be bringing in, native plants that will adhere to the landscape and not be very water hungry. But that's something that's super important, especially with the water needs in Central Texas.
Yeah, that was actually one of the number one things that the commissioners brought up day one. And so as we were talking about that, so that's one of our top 10 items that we'll be addressing.
Okay. My questions are done. Thank you.
You bet. Councilmember Medina, any questions?
I'll pass right now.
All right. Councilmember Harris.
A few. On the water, that one water was mentioned, what measures are you taking related to water conservation?
So we're in schematic design, so most of the things have been kind of focused on the building. Our civil engineers have been kind of working through that. Actually, I know they spend a lot of time here in the city of Kyle. So they have some narratives that they've written. I didn't memorize those, so I can't share that with you, but we could bring that information forward when we move.
Please, this is an excellent opportunity to actually do a one water building. They are more and more popular. They are wonderful for the environment. And there's really no reason not to do them anymore. How about, have you considered solar? That roof has a lot of space for solar. It would reduce the county's electricity costs dramatically. We don't handle the electricity, it's the PUC, so for us it's not a particular benefit, but it certainly does make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, we will definitely look at solar and some of these other kind of resiliency options. So with water, with regards to energy cost, even some of the kind of shading technology that we're also looking at, we want to make sure that this building is doing things that are not draining from the community, but actually adding back. So.
Well, there's some perfect one water things that this building could be designed in immediately. Reused is one of them, like Councilmember Guzza was saying. Being able to collect water, rainwater collection, gray water use certainly would be something that we should be looking at now in all of our big new buildings. And then there is a lot of glass, which is very attractive. I kind of like that. I like the airiness of that. But I am concerned about bird strikes. And I want to assure that the glass is bird safety, because there are special glass panels that are bird safe.
Yeah, and they actually print these patterns on the glass that you can't see that are actually helpful
Exactly.
with that kind of stuff.
Okay. And then I agree with the permeable pavement use as much as possible. There are some new materials that are heat resistant or dissipate heat better and allow water to come through, at least in limited amounts. That, as a matter of fact, we've just signed on to support a project in that's region-wide in the use of that. So I would love to see that as well.
Councilmember McKinney.
Thank you. Some excellent comments and questions so far. I too was looking at the amount of glass, and I absolutely love the look of the building, but my biggest concern was heat mitigation, and I got, a lot of friends are going to be working in this office, and I care about them, and I want to make sure that they're able to perform without feeling the heat. There's another thing that has been, and I'm hoping this is just because we've been focused on building design and not overall, but dedicated park space within the footprint of this property has always been part of the conversation. And I just want to make sure that that is still something that is going to be factored in. I know one of our residents had mentioned that it was going away, and that's not the impression I have been under.
No, I mean, we're really working hard to make sure the building has a symbiotic relationship with the park, and so that, that's why I think the setback of the building for that front lawn, so that can be a space for events and other kinds of things happening, how we landscape it, bring places for shelter, be shade, and of course, we would love people to walk around. We know it's harder on a hot day, but then they can come into the living room and get a little cool water and a rest and stuff like that. So that kind of engagement of the building, how we start to work the site and stuff like that. I know one of the things we're helping as things move forward, that we can start to integrate more into some of the other visions for the area. Because right now, I think we've been working hard on the building and have these placeholders, but we really want to integrate and work well with the city of Kyle.
I'm seeing the vision. I like what I'm hearing. I'm tremendously excited to be able to offer these services, in particular, easier access to my East Side residents. And there's so many benefits that are going to come from this once it's all said and done. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Tobias.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Well, first of all, I didn't think it was going to be that big. But I'm going to kind of piggyback on everything else as far as the windows. From somebody who worked in a building like that many years ago at Apple, it gets hot. I'm going to tell you, it gets hot when you have that many windows, and it gets cold. Trust me. And if we're going to be very conscious about cost savings and energy savings, it's something to really consider when we're designing these kind of buildings. Yes, it is beautiful, but we are in Central Texas. So something to look at. By looking at these floor plans, I don't see any space in here for meeting rooms, for a community meeting room anywhere. I see a lot of open space in the lobby area. I guess it's going to determine how big the offices are going to be. Again, I'm just going by this schematics, which is showing right there. But has there been thought of a community room or a meeting room within that area if there is to be any kind of open houses or round tables or town halls kind of deal for the community to come out, especially if we're going to be reaching out to the community in different ways? And because I'm looking at it not only just an office building, but a multi-purpose. And so there's that. That's my thing. And then there's a detention pond that's there. Kind of not fond of that because I know we've had some issues with Heroes Memorial. And when we have ponds and when we have detention man-made areas there, that's going to contain water. And you know where we are already with our conversations with water conservation here in this area. So other than that, I'm sure there'll be other questions that I'll have later on, but those are just ones that are coming out by just looking at this presentation. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
thank
got-
you.
I got several questions. You're good.
Okay.
So my first one is going to be to staff. This is dedicated parkland. I want to know who dedicated it to the city?
So I will note we did a title commitment on this property and there is no deed restriction that it must be used as parkland. I don't know who dedicated it off the top of my head.
Okay, so my concern then would be if it's dedicated and it's required to be parkland, I don't want to just do a little bit. And so I'm kind of torn with this whole project first and foremost because it's right next to a school. And so my first question is going to be, what traffic study's been done?
The traffic impact analysis has yet to take place. That typically takes place during the design development process. Early on, next phases, in addition, we're working through several site-related concerns that we're working through, and that's part of it.
Okay. There was a child that went to school that got hit in this area. And so the traffic in that area really worries me. Because we have kids walking, which is a major safety issue for me. And I drive that road all the time, and it's a curvy, kind of scary road.
So we've been requesting an existing TIA that was performed by the city consultant. We haven't been provided that information yet. So once we have that information in hand, then we will analyze that. And if we have to go further and conduct another analysis, we will do that. But we are certainly sensitive to that, and we've been requesting that information, but haven't gotten it yet, but we're trying to just let the process play out, but that is something that we've requested, but we haven't gotten yet.
Okay. Well, that TIA, I just want to make sure, that road, I think it's BB Road, or Daisy, and it's been updated. So to ensure that we have the most recent TIA to include that expansion, because it used to be a much smaller road that kids would have to cross, and now it's much larger. And so my next safety issue is going to be the fact that you guys want to stick a probation near this school. Some probationary people can't even be within so many feet of a school. And so I worry about that. Go ahead. Mayor Pro Tem? No? Okay.
No, it's true. Yes.
Okay. How much is the cost? What is the cost? What are we looking at for this cost?
When Kitchell put together the budgeting preliminary, so we had the scope of the work for the building for the 175 people. I think it was presented back to Hays County as the full project about 62 million, but that's.
So the complete budget for the project is around $65 million. That includes hard and soft costs.
Okay, and where is the funding coming from?
Good evening. My name is Candace Bouteng, and I'm the county administrator. In regards to funding, our court approved $100 million in COs in December, so that funding would come from that allocation of funds.
And do we know what the effect is going to be on the city, the county residents?
So it is actually included in our tax rate, so this would not cause any increase in our tax rate. It is already considered in the 0.39995 tax rate that we hold as of now.
Okay. And so which city offices would be housed out of that?
So we have designated space for communities, for meeting rooms, as well as we've designated some offices for city and state offices. We have not gotten into the detail of the square footage, but we will have space available.
Okay, and then is there any cost to the city to maintain this building?
No, it's us continuing to be a good partner to the city, like you all have been to us. So no, it would be no cost for that space.
Okay, and no responsibilities from the city?
No, ma'am. The county would be responsible for the operations.
Okay, so as somebody who, I'm very familiar with this area, and I understand that, the city has planned for a long time to make this a legit park area, meaning we've spent, $1 million on park plans. I need to make sure I get our resident feedback and to see how they feel about this, because that was dedicated park space. And for me, I question what is going to be highest and best use to go along with our animal care facility. And so before I'm comfortable moving forward, I would like to get that feedback from our residents, especially those that live in that area. That traffic is going to make me really nervous because I drive it all the time, and it's a legit scary road. And so I want to make sure the kiddos walking across that road are going to be safe. I also want to make sure the traffic study is up to date and the best information that we have. So that's my feedback.
Thank you, ma'am. And I just want to say, we really wanted to give an update to the council on our concept so we could get that feedback. So we welcome that discussion, that dialogue with you all as well as other citizens.
Okay. Well, yeah, before I move 1 inch forward, I'm going to require resident feedback. I can't be on board with anything, especially if it's going to pay, if our taxpayers have CO bonds, which they have not had a voice or a vote on. If they have not had an opportunity to have some kind of opinion in it, I'm not going to be comfortable moving forward. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Harris?
Just a quick note about the use of the building. You do have the probation offices to have an area there. I personally do not have trouble with that. I know a lot of our probationers are very low income, and they have a great deal of difficulty sometimes getting to the probation offices in San Marcos and into court. I know for our mental health court people, it can be extremely difficult for them to get there. And they are required, of course, to meet their court dates and to be at their probation offices. So I think we could handle a lot of the concern by assuring that those that are high-risk probation cases are not assigned to this particular office.
Yeah, and in response to that, thank you, Councilmember. The goal of this, like I said earlier, these are all kind of satellite services. So the main, or as you say, some of the more troubled youth would probably be handled at the main facility, not at this location. It's really more of an outreach to make sure that these services are available to the community.
Is there any way we can find out from maybe Officer Pates? Could you bring back some information to tell us how many children are on probation? Is that doable? Well, I just want to make sure if we're going to have something like that within our city, we don't want to bring any extra, but, having our kids have accessibility, I think that is great information for us.
We can certainly get that information from the police department, and we'll make sure Officer Pates is fully involved in that assignment.
I think he's the one that works with the kids, right? Do you still work with him? Yeah. Okay.
And Mayor, if I may add, you're also going to have a sheriff department there as well. So there could be some situations to where if somebody would need to turn themselves in, would that be one of those satellite places to where they would need to either register or get their probation checked in? So, I mean, you have valid points on the concerns about being in between two schools, because there are kids that walk home to those apartments and that from Science Hall, and then you got kids that walk from Chapa. I understand your concerns on that end. But I guess those are things that we still got to be able to get some more information and feedback on if this is going to be a satellite offices for our law enforcement. It says sheriff's going to have an office down the bottom. What kind of services are they going to provide there?
No, and even more so, go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to clarify that we have a juvenile probation office at the current Precinct 2 office right now and a sheriff's department right now. So everything that is on that site plan is everything that exactly is what in Precinct 2 right now. What is additional is the administrative office building that's on the 3rd level, a new justice at the peace office, a local public health department, more meeting space, all those extra amenities that we need on the east side. And the fact that we don't have a drive-through on Precinct 2 right now, and this building does, is a big benefit for a lot of our constituency who right now have to get out of the car and do tax business. This would at least let them stay in their cars and go through the drive-through. And just speaking in generalities here, the east side of the county has never had services, ever. And so this building is going to bring all these essential services to an area that historically has been underserved and undervalued. And so that I just want y'all to understand that this is a huge thing for this community on the east side. And we definitely want to take your feedback. We heard about the windows and you know, we wanted to address all of those things, but the amenities that this is going to bring to an area of our county that is in need of these kinds of services is really important. So I just wanted to clarify that the probation office, the sheriff's office, they are all currently at the Precinct 2 building right now.
Now, is there a drive-through in San Marcos?
In San Marcos, but not in Kyle. And if you've ever had to do business at Precinct 2, that sometimes, you know, it's a 2 or 3 hour wait sometimes. It's one of the busiest offices in the county.
Okay.
So this is going to relieve some of that congestion on the Precinct 2.
All right.
I just wanted
And
to clarify that.
can we get the deed? I want to look at the deed. So I've most recently I've spoken with the Austin Sunshine Camp and the YMCA. And so I just want to make sure before we move forward, and knowing this is parkland, dedicated parkland, we can get a consensus of, yes, we'd rather use this as an area services for the county with a little park, as opposed to just all parkland.
Yeah, we can get the information that was run through the title service and a copy of the deed. I will also note that at some point, I can't remember exactly when last year, we did a Chapter 26 hearing to declare that this was not needed to be used for parkland. So that has already occurred.
It's already happened? Okay.
Yes.
Mayor?
Go ahead.
Two things. Number one, there is a large park area that is part of this whole design for the park. So this is just a part, the south end of that. And I'd like to emphasize, when we talk about probationers, they're living there anyway. It's not like they're not part of our community. You know, they're living in the apartments along there, they're living in the housing developments. The kids are going to school at Lehman, they're going to school at the various schools along there. So it's not like we're bringing people into the community that aren't already here. Our kids would not be in any more danger from these probationers than they already are, which is minimal. So I would hate to see that office not be there because of prejudice against the probationers. They live in our community.
Nope, I agree. They have every right to live in our community. My only concern would be placing them next to a school or two schools.
They go to those schools.
And so, nope, people on probation, adults on probation probably shouldn't be going to school.
Well, not adults.
Well, and it's going to have
But
both.
they live all over our community. Plus, there are I'm sure that some people from Buda will choose to come to these offices as well, rather than, just Kyle.
All right, are we good? Up next, we have Agenda Item 20, and Councilmember Goza has requested that we put up Item 20 and 21 at the same time. Consider directing the city manager to bring back an item related to construction in riparian zones, and consider directing the city manager to bring back options for the creation of an overlay covering the Edwards Aquifer Recharge Zone. So this is Courtney Goza.
Thank you. So, as we know, Kyle has been really rapidly growing, and so we have development pressure over the areas that are not ordinary land areas with riparian corridors and portions of the Edwards Aquifer Recharge Zone. So these are two of the most sensitive systems that we have within our section of Hays County. Riparian zones are creeks and they're tree-lined buffers. They aren't just open space, they're working systems. They help stabilize soil, reduce erosion, filter pollutants, and slow stormwater before it becomes a problem. The Edwards Aquifer Recharge Zone is even more critical. In most places, water filters very slowly through the soil to seep into the aquifers, but over the recharge zone, it quickly moves through fractures in the limestone. And goes directly into the aquifer. That means what happens on the surface doesn't just stay on the surface. So once something gets into that system, it's incredibly difficult to remove. Additionally, the higher levels of impervious coverage over that area means that less water flows into the aquifer, which is one of the water sources that we depend on. So we do have some regulations in place, but those regulations are largely designed to manage runoff after the land is disturbed. They don't always prevent the disturbance itself. So that in my opinion, is a gap. Other cities in Central Texas have recognized this and they've taken a different approach. So Austin, for example, adopted the Save Our Springs ordinance. So in sensitive recharge areas, they limit the impervious cover to roughly 15% and establish protected creek buffer zones where development is heavily restricted or not allowed at all. So Marcus has taken a similar path. They've implemented lower impervious coverage limits, around 20% over the recharge areas. They placed a strong emphasis on preserving the open space over sensitive land and not just treating the runoff. So they established buffer zones along creeks and rivers that limit clearing, grading, and construction activity in order to protect the native vegetation and restrict unnecessary clearing. There's also restoration and survival requirements in case those areas have to be disturbed through construction. Even at the county level, Travis County promotes conservation-style development where land is clustered and large portions of natural terrain, especially near the waterways, are left undisturbed. So across the region, best practices are consistent to protect our creek buffers, limit how much land can be disturbed, and in sensitive areas require construction methods that avoid tearing through root systems and natural drainage patterns. So this is not because development's bad, but it's because certain land requires different requirements in order to keep it healthy and natural and protect our environment. So right now, we largely apply a uniform approach to very different types of land. And as we continue to grow, especially with large-scale developments on the horizon, that approach is going to matter more. These decisions don't just affect today's project or today's population, they affect everything going forward into the future. They shape how our waterways function, how stable our land remains, and how protected our water supply is 10, 20, 30 years from now. Once those systems are affected, they don't easily go back. So we've been so proactive in so many different areas. I think that this is an area where we need to engage in proactive standards in order to protect those very, very critical portions of our land. So that was the reason that I put this together, to hopefully get some options to be more proactive in protection of our riparian zones and of our Edwards Aquifer.
All right. Councilmember Harris.
Amen. That's for the last 2.5 years. This is what I've been talking about. A lot of the construction and riparian zones in the city of Kyle is along, or will be along the Blanco River, and that is not all in city limits. And I think when we consider this, we also need to consider the drainage areas. That, for instance, in Six Creeks, the drainage was all rerouted. It is not going toward the river any longer. It goes through town, basically into Plum Creek. So those issues do definitely need to be addressed. And the preservation of our riparian areas has not been a priority in any way, and I think it needs to be. On the Edwards Aquifer Recharge Zone, in looking at the Edwards Aquifer maps, we have very little that is actually in the recharge zone, but we do have quite a bit in the contributing zone, which means that if we're putting it toward the Blanco, we'll be doing better than if we're rerouting water into other areas of the city. So I do think we need an overlay for all of the zones, and I think we need an overlay for the eco regions. For instance, the Blackland Prairie regions that are endangered on the east side need to have special attention as well, and preservation as well. We are rapidly using that up for housing, apartments and commercial, and I would like to see us include in this some consideration of those endangered ecoregions.
All right, Councilmember McKinney.
Great suggestion. Yeah. Yeah, I would love to see these come back to us with some options and direction. In particular, I would love to see some of the different overlay maps, things like that. But I'd like to make a motion, unless anybody else has anything to say, to
You can make a
approve
motion,
20
we can
and
still
21.
talk about it. Okay, do you want to second it? He made a motion, 1 second.
Second.
All All right, we have a motion by Councilmember McKinney and a second by Councilmember Goza. I do want to say, I know very little about either one of these. And so I don't know if it's possible for the city to make a video to just educate people about the importance of this stuff.
Good idea.
Because if it were not for Councilmember Harris and Goza, I would know very little about this. So what is a recharge? What does it mean? How does it affect us? Riparian zones, I have no idea what that is. So I don't know if we could just make like a 30-second video just to give a short explanation, because I think that's something actually cool to have in our city. And how do we protect it? And why is it important to protect it? That would be fantastic. Mayor Pro Tem, do you have anything to say?
No. Thank you, Ms. Goza, for bringing that forward. And, I'm excited to see what we can bring forward, especially when it comes to our water.
Do we have anything? Now I see it says it's kind of a item related to construction. Is there anything in particular we'd like to see?
So one of the projects we have right now is doing a wastewater line, and it's going right through those riparian zones and stripping out a 60-foot wide swath of trees and taking up all of those roots, and that's on the Plum Creek. So, it's really important to have control of what is going into the runoff, because further down is where we put all of our wastewater runoff. And so that is something that TCEQ, as they permit us to put more output in, is important to know what the creek's health is. So that was just an example that I had. But really, it's kind of anything that would impact it. If we're building trails, are we taking out stuff, like keeping it as natural as possible in order to preserve the landscape and all of the things that work together to make it that ecosystem.
Is that enough direction for staff? Just want to make sure, okay? All right, well, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right, motion passes 6-0. And we are adjourned. Good job.
We did it.